Let's bring you this discussion now. The Parliamentary Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure says it'll be holding public hearings in March on the May 2024 George building collapse. You'll remember a total of 34 people were killed in that incident and dozens more were left injured after a building under construction caved in and trapping workers. Several investigations across various departments and municipalities are continuing. But let's speak to the chairperson of that portfolio committee now, Carol Phiri. It's a great pleasure having you with us on the program. Can I ask, Carol, what's been done so far insofar as investigations are concerned? So we are 8 months now since that George building collapse has happened, if my calculations are correct. What's been done in the interim?
Good afternoon to your good self and fellow South Africans, your viewers in particular. Currently, what has been done, we have received a report that already the Western Cape Premier, Mr. Ian White, has handed over the report on this matter to the SAPS, which is South African Police Services. And we are hopeful that those responsible will be brought into justice. So we really believe that there are things that are in place. It's not just 8 months wasted unnecessarily. SAPS is busy with its matters. Therefore, even ourselves, as we said, we are embarking on an oversight. We want to gain more inside information and understand what has transpired. You'll remember that the responsibility of DPWI and its entities is to make sure that we've got a good infrastructure in the country, buildings that cannot collapse, that will never cause trauma, or that will never take lives of our people.
Yeah, so, you know, last year the Western Cape government did announce that it had received its investigation report on the building collapse. At the time, the investigation, the report had not been made public. There were also investigations taking place, as you've also said, Carol, across several departments and by several professional bodies. So the March date, does that mean by the March date of this inquiry by Parliament's Portfolio Committee, does it mean we will have some of the findings of those investigations ready for when this process gets underway?
We are hopeful that you might get that, but our main issue as a portfolio committee, we want to gain more insight and understand what transpired, as we'll be embarking on that oversight with our entities. So we are going to also try and get what has happened through the public hearing. And in the public hearing, you also invite the community itself and give us more information. So on that journey, we'll be anticipating to also get families of those people, the co-workers that were working, the constructors, and also other stakeholders that were part. And while we are saying in line with other departments, and as we have made and extended an invite to Labour department, they will also be part of us, and all the stakeholders are welcome. So we are really hoping and wanting to get more information, and this report must be availed to the public so that we can bring closure and hold those who are supposed to be taken to justice to be prevailed.
Yeah. I understand that the Western Cape Premier has now received the findings, the structural engineering findings into that George building collapse. And as I said earlier, the findings have yet to be made public. But there is also surely a police investigation that will continue, Carol. I'm just trying to clarify the timelines, you know. So we've got the report by the structural engineers, which has been handed over to the city, to the Western Cape government. And then the Western Cape government has handed that over to Thembisile Patekile and Captain Johan de Lange. They're the lead investigator in the case. So there's the investigation, there's the police investigation, there's the parliamentary inquiry. Just take us through the timelines involved here, Carol, and how these will these be parallel events that take place, the investigations and the inquiry, or are we waiting for one to finish before the other begins?
No, we don't wait. They will run parallel.
I see.
Remember, as a national parliament, we have a role to play and oversight both local, provincial, and national. So it is our role as a committee that deals with public works and infrastructure, and in particular, as that structure, we need to understand and try to also avoid what has happened, not to occur again. So we are doing our own oversight, then that will also be informed by the report that we get from SAPS and other entities or structures that will be doing investigation. It will never be a parallel thing because we are all governments, years of government will come together. That's why we're saying even the Department of Labor will be part of us if they are available based on their availability. And also, I want to make it clear even to our citizens that even the March date, it's not yet finalized, it has not yet approved. It has been finalized from our side as a portfolio committee as we have submitted to the chair of chairs, but it will be subject to the chair of chairs approval based on the budget and other processes that he looks into in Parliament. So I really strongly want to make you understand that it will never be something that will do separate, but they will run parallel. At the end, all of them, all those reports, they will come to Parliament and be discussed to Parliament. So it is a joint program.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is entirely possible and probable that a criminal proceeding may ensue as well. Can you speak to, Carol, the kind of support that's been received, if anything at all, by the families of those 34 people who were killed and the dozens more who were injured in this disaster?
Allow me to talk on the side of the portfolio. I don't want to get into on the side where for now, we have not even dwelled much on, but we believe that professionals who are supposed to go and do the trauma counseling to the families and make them understand and try to give them closure, they've done that. But on our side, as a portfolio committee, it's our turn. That's why we're saying we will want to also meet with the families. We have not yet there. Even the 6th administration, we are taking it from them as a legacy report to say, you must start with the George issue. We're unable to deal with the George matter on the 6th administration as it was coming to the end. So us as the 7th administration, that's why we're taking from the legacy of the 6th administration. We are going to George and do a public hearing. That's why for us, it's not just an oversight, it's a public hearing where we'll meet, and it won't have boundaries to say this one does not enter, this one does enter. We'll want to understand from every angle. We're not going to isolate or choose and pick, but we'll also, the minute we get approval from the chair of chairs, we'll make it public, we'll inform the media, we'll inform the local municipalities and the relevant families who are supposed to be part or who have been affected by the tragedy.
Carol Phiri, let me thank you for your time this afternoon. She's the chairperson of the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, and that committee is eyeing the month of March to get this public hearing underway into the George collapse of Workers' Day last year. A building collapsed on Workers' Day last year, 34 people killed and more than 24 injured in that disaster.